Okay, so you're welcome to another episode of the Hot Take right here on GH Free TV. Like always, my name is Tony Asankomah, and when you see the Hot Take, you know I have something crazy to say about something that's going on concerning the film industry, either here in Ghana, Africa, or the rest of the world. But like always, before I go any further, please do well to hit the subscription button if you already haven't. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to hit the notification bell as well so that any other video that I drop on this channel, you'll be the first to get to see it. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on my hot take. Let me know your thoughts on the subject matter as well. And most importantly, I can't stress this any harder. Please do well to share this video so as many people would get to see this. But again, before I go to what we are going to talk about today, I just want to say a big thank you to anybody that took time off their busy schedules yesterday to wish me a happy birthday, and I'm grateful. I know I'm not the nicest person when it comes to like enjoying or celebrating birthdays, because my birthdays are always very reflective and introspective for me for as long as I can remember. It's always been like that. I always take time during my birthday to take stock of everything that is going on in my life. So I'm not really the nicest person to be around when it comes to my birthday, but I'm grateful for anybody that reached out to say, give me a word of encouragement or just extend their wishes and prayers to me on my birthday, on my 35th birthday. Actually, like, I can't believe it, I made it to 35. Anyway, so thank you guys. I'm very, very grateful. So today I'm going to have a very interesting episode of the Hot Take, because I'm looking at something that has become sort of like a conversation, a going conversation about the Ghanaian film industry. What I like to see as support versus lack of interest. Support, the cry for support essentially from the part of the filmmakers, and the lack of interest from the audience. I'm going to look at two clips that I feel all are related to the conversation one way or the other. And I'm going to give my hot take on this. And I'm going to be very, how should I say this? I'm going to be very brutal today, because I feel like a lot has been said on this conversation, on this particular subject matter. I've been saying this for years, but people are not hearing it. And anytime let's just go into the first clip.
It's all right, but I'm trying to establish a point here, guys. We're very we don't like to support our own. It's the
I feel like we don't have
honest
too much confidence in our own stuff.
we will
Yes,
rush,
that's what I'm saying.
we will rush,
Or we look down.
We look down.
Or we don't rate ourselves.
So this is a clip from a podcast, an episode of the podcast Girls Aloud on Kofi Asamoah's YouTube channel. I'll leave a link to that in the description of this video as well, so you go and check it out. It's a lengthy conversation. It's an hour plus conversation with the girls on the podcast and their guest, James Gardner, who happens to be the Deputy Executive Secretary of the National Film Authority of Ghana. And they were having a conversation about almost everything, and particularly the Ghanaian film industry. And I mean, I could sit down and react to every single frame or every single minute of this podcast, because the conversation was, should I say, I don't want to call the conversation interesting. I was just going to say the conversation was just a mishmash of misinformation and, let me save the other word. Yes, misinformation. Like, well, yeah. Misinformation and ignorance. Let me put it that way. Yes. And shout outs to Dachi Hine Abebio, a Ghanaian filmmaker in the United States, who actually drew my attention to this clip. I checked it out. And also shout outs to my producer, Nana Obrimpong. Yes, for isolating this part of the clip that I want to react to. Let's just keep watching.
We have the notion that it's one way. Because, at the end of the day, this is how they end.
but then that is not right, though.
But you don't give them a
That's
chance.
not right.
That's why
He's trying to
enjoy the
say.
Ghanaian movie. Like, enjoy the Ghanaian movie.
If you go and buy watch it from
So listen to this part. Listen to what James Gardner says here.
one spot, right, and it doesn't taste good. You go to another spot and the watch it doesn't taste good. You go to a third spot, doesn't taste good. Would you stop eating watch it?
No,
Find another one.
That's
Exactly my point. So hear me out. If producers are not getting the support that they're looking for, right, that invariably interprets into profit, because it's a business. It's not just a joke. If I'm not making a lot of money as a producer, my advertising tools or marketing tools is limited.
Yeah.
It boils down to money.
That's true.
It's not a joke. All these billboards and all these things that you have to pay for, promoters, influencers,
Premieres,
it's
everything.
money.
Yeah.
Now imagine doing all of this, and we still have the mindset that I know that it's not going to be good. Are you expecting people to turn up in their numbers, on your premiere day or even after in the cinemas, and nobody's showing up?
But I think
And it's
sometimes
a good film.
Yeah.
So I know you don't understand what the conversation is about. I'm going to add a little bit of context to it. This is James Gardner and the girls on the podcast, Girls Out Loud, and having a conversation about the Ghanaian film industry. And James Gardner is talking about there essentially being the lack of interest from the Ghanaian audience versus the industry needing the support of the audience, right? That's essentially the context of what we are going to talk, or I'm going to talk about on this hot take. But before I go any further, I feel like James Gardner was. I don't want to make this conversation about him. I don't want to make this pod about him. But I wasn't quite impressed with his response to some of the questions. I don't know. You know what? Let me just take this from the top again, so that everybody can, maybe I don't know. Let's just listen to this from the top.
It's all right, but I'm trying to establish a point here, guys. We're very. We don't like to support our own. It's the
I feel like
honest
we don't
truth.
have too much confidence in our own
We
stuff.
will
Yes,
rush.
that's what I'm saying.
We will rush.
Or we
and
look
go-
down.
it's-
We look down.
Or we don't rate
because
So this I agree to. Ghanaians generally do not have, like, we have this Ghanaian thing where we are very reluctant to support Ghanaian stuff. I don't know what the cause of this is. I don't know what. I like to think of it also as this way, that Ghanaians are very critical of Ghanaian stuff, which is very fair, as it should be. As a matter of fact, we have to be our first critics before the rest of the world. We should be the ones that are looking at Ghanaian creatives and saying, bro, you could do better, before anybody else. And it's fair. And I believe that happens in every other territory, every other country, where the people from that country are more critical of the art that comes out of that country than everybody else. But then again, Ghanaians naturally have a way of not really caring about things that are Ghanaian unless I don't know, unless it's that extra element. And I'm trying to understand the science behind it. I think maybe somebody, a psychologist or whoever, has to do like a proper research paper into this to try and understand the Ghanaian way of thinking when it comes to their creative arts. I think someone should take that upon themselves and try to understand, because it's very difficult to figure out what really the Ghanaian audience wants. And yeah, anyway, let's just go on.
we have the
All of
notion that
those.
it's one way. Because at the end of the day, this is how you
Yeah,
end.
but then that is not right, though.
But you don't give them a
That's
chance.
I
not
don't remember
right.
the last
That's what
time I
he's trying to
enjoyed a
say.
Ghanaian movie. Like,
If-
enjoy the Ghanaian.
So this is the thing that you hear very often, even on the internet. I don't remember the last time I watched a Ghanaian film. I don't remember the last time I watched a Ghanaian film. I don't remember the last time I went to the cinema. I don't remember. It's very common. Bro, in all this while that I've been doing this, I've heard this even from people that are very close to me, and I can understand why. I've spoken about this before, where I've maintained that we've lost the Ghanaian audience. And I say I put myself in the shoes of the creatives, that we've lost the Ghanaian audience. It takes an extra effort to win the Ghanaian audience. Whether you like it or not, we have lost the Ghanaian audience. Maybe when it comes to film, maybe it's because the lack of cinemas. That could be one. Or we killed the cinema culture. I like to think of it that way, because several years ago, there was a thriving cinema culture. It died, it was revived a bit, and then it died again. And I think that is the basis of our problem, more or less. There are still people today that think that going to the cinema is a luxury, right? There are people that would look at their expenses within the month and they're like, nah, there's no way I'm going to spend 150 Ghana cedis on a ticket in the cinema. Nah, it's a luxury. And that's adding to the problem. Because of that, people when I'm going to the cinema every weekend, people, hey, you get money, but you can't blame them. We've lost their audience. Let's not kid about that.
If you go and buy wache from one spot, right, and it doesn't taste good,
So this is the part I want us to pay attention to.
you go to another spot and the wache doesn't taste good. You go to a third spot, it doesn't taste good. Will you stop eating wache
Nah,
entirely?
Find another one. I still keep trying.
for somebody that loves watching, if I should go to, and this is me, anytime I move to a new neighborhood, one of the first things I look out for, even before I move into the neighborhood, is where can I get the nicest watchy to buy, right? Because I don't want to have to travel, like walk a distance or, journey far away to get watchy. If I buy once, twice, and I realize it's not good, I'm not going there again. That's the truth. I probably move on to the next watchy seller till I find the watchy that satisfies me, right? I'm not going to stop eating watchy, right? I'm going to consistently and be intentional about finding the best watchy to eat. Okay, yeah. So I agree with James on that.
Point. So hear me out. If producers are not getting the support that they're looking for, right? That invariably interprets into profit. Because it's a business. It's not just a joke. If I'm not making a lot of money as a producer, my advertising tools or marketing tools is limited.
Yeah.
It boils down to money.
That's true.
It's not a joke. All these billboards and all these things that you have to pay for, promoters, influencers,
Premieres,
it's
everything,
money.
yeah.
Now imagine doing all of this and we still have the mindset that I know that it's not going to be good. Are you expecting people to turn up in their numbers?
So this is it. Where did that mindset come from? Do you think the Ghanaian audience just woke up and said Ghanaian films are not good? No. I've spoken about this many times, that the Ghanaian audience over the years have acquired a certain taste when it comes to the quality of film. And it's through no fault of theirs. It is up to creatives, again, as creatives, to be able to match up or work towards achieving that quality so as to satisfy them. It's like, yeah, if the watchy seller in my area starts, making a watchy trash and I go taste some watchy elsewhere, I would definitely walk that distance to go eat that watchy, regardless of how tired I am, right? Even if it's more expensive, because I want the best watchy, I will leave and go get that watchy, right? And it's no fault of mine. It's the fault of that watchy seller not elevating her game, not improving or maintaining a certain standard, or it's that watchy seller's fault for not satisfying me. It's not my fault that I have an acquired taste. It's as simple as that. So I don't know.
On your premiere day or even after in the cinemas and nobody's showing up.
But I think
And it's
sometimes,
a good film.
Yeah.
You still haven't given it a chance.
Yeah.
You get what I'm coming from, guys.
I feel like they had it some years back, but now I feel like they lost
maybe
it.
we've lost
so
hope.
they need to
That
work
is what-
on the
so that's-
whole
that-
thing
that's what I'm saying.
and
So
try
then-
to give it back
so
to us.
then
Isn't
you
it
have
a hype
to
is normal? It's
So
normal.
then,
The movies.
so then you have to be malleable. You guys have to ease up a
No,
little
we are there.
bit.
We are on
hype
the
is
social
not
media.
much.
We are there, but
We are
not
there.
feeling it.
We
We are
want
not
to see
seeing it.
something.
Do you
Yeah,
know?
we've lost
Do you know how
literally.
much marketing we did for One Night Guest?
I never heard of it though.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So that's okay. So maybe your algorithm will probably
show us that.
Not
certain
show,
things
yeah,
that come
yeah,
to you.
yeah.
So you go out with what you want to look for. I come back to this same point.
Yeah.
We just have to be intentional about it, girls. We just have to be. If you're very intentional about it and you look out for certain things where you spend the most time here or watching content from these countries, you keep seeing content from those countries. It's just natural. So we just have to realign ourselves. Okay, fine. We dropped the ball at some point, but now we're trying to make things work, right? What do? We need the support now, even more, because
more.
to now get people to come back.
It's quite the
Ghanaians are very stubborn when it comes to these things. I'm not even going to lie. Look, when you do concerts, yeah, and all of these events, the kind of support that you get in other countries is not the same that we get here. You see a post, you release an official trailer for a film that's coming. It's a good film, by the way, directed by a very renowned, director, right?
Yeah.
And there are all of these faces, and then maybe I'm in the film. I know it's a very good film, but you don't get that kind of support that we're getting. What else do you do? I can't go knocking on doors. This film is good,
You
guys.
can
You
do
really have to see it. I can do what I can do with my platform.
She said you can do content. Film is content, sister. I don't know what you're talking about. Film is content.
tell whoever it is, or the people who have seen it will tell, but they can only go so far, and
I
that's
feel
it.
like you should involve more of the influencers though. Like,
This is the part that irks me, bro. This is the part that upsets me. Like it gets me irritated. Like when I hear people say include what influencers in your marketing plan. Yes, include influencers, but what the hell are they influencing? Let's be honest. Let's be really honest here. Are we ready to have a conversation about the influencer culture here in Ghana? Are we ready to have that conversation? Really? Because what are they influencing? Let's be real. Okay, let's be real. We are so caught up with the numbers games that we are not really paying attention to the impact. Is it converting into sales? I'm not going to talk about any brand particularly, but let's be real. Are we ready to have that conversation? Because if we are going to have that conversation, we realize that nobody is influencing anything here in this country. People just have social media platforms with numbers that they are fortunate enough to secure certain deals with. But at the end of the day, how many of them actually convert into sales? What's the conversion rate? But I digress.
I'm not saying
not
that's
against
the downside, but the thing is, after we do it, we need the intentional supports of people to come out and support. Because at the end of the day, it's a business. These producers also have to make money and keep.
I feel like you just need to get the
industry
interest
going.
back from the people.
Yeah.
Because if we only support you if you're interested in what you're giving us.
Yeah, so
but
you
there's
have
a point
to
where
ease up.
we are not even seeing
anything.
I'm working. We're not even seeing anything.
Because you're making it
understand?
difficult for these guys. That's what I'm telling
But are
you.
they even doing stuff?
They are doing stuff.
How come we're not seeing it?
Support versus lack of interest. This is the conversation, or this is what I wanted to talk about today on this hot take. I'm going to play another clip, but before I get to that one, I really wish that people would become very critical of this conversation. People would want to have this conversation over and over again. How did we lose a Ghanaian audience? I always put myself in that position as part of the creatives because I am a creative. I've worked in, let me not even talk about this, but I put myself in that position because it's the truth. We've lost that audience. I wrote a very important article, one of the breakthrough articles for my career as a film critic, as somebody that's doing this, the Accra More mentality, where I was kind of like trying to highlight some of the things that we did that killed interest in the Ghanaian film industry. And top of it, okay, and I find it, this is where I put myself again in the position of the audience, that a lot of producers try to dance around this. It all leads down to quality, my guy. It all leads down to quality, because if the audience do not get the quality they are looking for, they will lose interest. If the audience is not giving value for money, they will lose interest. That is where we drop the ball. Let's not kid ourselves. If our films were good enough, we wouldn't lose the audience. We hear producers have this conversation and they are always dancing around this. If our films were good enough, I'm not saying all our films are bad. There are some good films, but it could be better. And I've been saying this for years. And anytime I say it, people look at me and be like, this guy is a hater. This guy is trying to sabotage the Ghanaian film industry. What do I gain? Bro, the last time I got really pissed recording a hot take was because some idiot filmmaker, and I'm not going to mince words about this, was like, I do these things for attention. What do I need attention for? Like, bro, I don't buy electricity with attention, bro. I just want to see good Ghanaian films. I just want to watch a Ghanaian film and have my mind blown. For somebody that is on a jury for 6-7 international film festivals, you can imagine the amount of film I've watched from different parts of the world. And I watch films, and sometimes I watch a film, like I'm very tired, I don't have any interest in watching the film. I watch the first 5 minutes and I'm like, okay, let me power through. And I end up watching an hour-long film, and I feel satisfied. At times, I would want to watch it again, even not for the fact that I have 77 other films to complete. I would go back and watch it again. I just love films, and everybody else loves films, and they want to see the best films. So when we are coming at Ghanaian filmmakers and saying, please improve the quality of your films. It's not a matter of hate. It's not a matter of me looking for attention or some form of what was that stupid thing that he said? I'm sorry. I'm going to be very, because new age, new energy. I don't know when this energy wear off, but that's the truth. Like, let's not kid ourselves. Like, I just want to see good films, right? And anytime I speak about a Ghanaian film, it's because I want it to improve. Okay. But I digress again. That really is the problem. That's how the audience was lost. Okay, we can dance around it. Lack of cinemas, lack of investments, lack of what. People just want to see a good film. A good film is one that has a good story, is well produced. At the end of the day, the audience leaves with some entertainment value, and they also leave with something to think about. And when I say something to think about, they leave with something that sparks a conversation. I've been always talking about this, that there's a need for us to be deliberate about telling stories that are conversation worthy. And that brings me to my next clip.
Recently, I saw something that was going around. I think Tyler Perry released a film called Straw.
Exactly.
And there's been so much talk about it on our social media pages and stuff. And I said, I don't remember getting this kind of attention when I have released a film. Do you understand? And so it's not balancing. Why are we talking about Tyler Perry's movie when, we could easily have that same attention come to a Shelley Frimpong Manso movie? Do you understand? We have put films there that critically, examine a lot of things. Recently, we released a film called Chasing Lullaby on Mother's Day.
Right.
It's a film that we shot a few years ago, and then we released it on our YouTube page. And you should see the film. It's a beautiful film that talks about mothers, in all forms, and and I didn't see the media pick it up and make a whole song and dance about it like they are doing with Tyler Perry movie. He doesn't care about us. We have to care about our own. We have to push our own. Do you get? And that's what Nigeria is doing and doing effectively. They push their own. They promote their own. They support their own.
This is Hits.
So this is another clip that's courtesy of Hits FM, and that was Shelley Frimpong Manso on an interview, probably talking about as part of her obligations, her press obligations for her latest stage play, which I'm going to plug at the end of this video. It's actually happening this Friday and over the weekend as well. Now let me plug this thing now. Let me get the title right. I don't want to mess up the title and the details, so let me plug that. So there's a play, Stephen Yao Sapon's Honeymoon Hotel, a stage play, an adaptation being directed by Shelley Frimpong Manso. That's happening on the 20th, 21st, and 22nd June, 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. daily at the National Theatre. Tickets are selling for 200 CDs and 350 CDs. You shouldn't miss this one. As a matter of fact, I'll be going out to go see this one, and I'll be writing a review about it, hopefully, fingers crossed. So she's doing this press. I'm sure. I'm not too sure, but I believe that interview was part of her press runs for this particular project. But again, the conversation came up, and let's just listen to what she said again.
I saw something that was going around. I think Tyler Perry released a film called Straw.
Exactly.
And there's been so much talk about it on our social media pages and stuff. And I said, I don't remember getting this kind of attention when I have released a film. Do you understand?
I think, okay, this is it. I think Shelley has enjoyed some attention for her films, but maybe not on the scale of Straw. And you can't compare it, because the conversation about Straw is a global conversation. Everybody else is talking about it, right? But Shelley has, within the Ghanaian film space, I believe, on multiple occasions, enjoyed some attention for her films, right? And yes, she's had that. Not every filmmaker has had that. Maybe she's pointing out that she would have loved for the conversation about her films to be on the scale of what we saw for Straw. And that is where I feel like this conversation, or where I felt like this clip was important for me to react to, in connection to the clip I just reacted to, that has to, or what I was saying about the need for us to be intentional about making films that are conversation worthy, right? The reason why people will go crazy about Straw is the conversation behind Straw, like the conversation behind the narrative, behind the film, behind the story. People watch the film and they feel like they have an opinion over it. I've made this argument for years about Acrimony being one of the biggest Tyler Perry films because of the conversation it sparked. Even today, regardless of how many times you've watched Acrimony, if you sit down with any group of people to watch Acrimony, by the time the film ends, you guys are going to have a debate or have a conversation about the film, right? And I usually make this argument that if you release a film and there is no conversation about your film, you failed. I say this and people say I'm crazy. Why else are you releasing the film? Well, maybe you are releasing it just for the money, but I think that it's important that once you release a film, there has to be some conversation about the film. People have to talk about the film once they've seen it. If they are not saying anything about the film, in my opinion, you failed, because art is supposed to be appreciated. And the appreciation of art comes in the form of people wanting to have a conversation about that art. Film is art. I rest my case.
And so it's not balancing. Why are we talking about Tyler Perry's movie when we could easily have that same attention come to a Shelley Frimpong movie? Do you understand? We have put films there that critically examine a lot of things. Recently, we released a film called Chasing Lullaby.
Go check it out, by the way. I'll do well to leave a link to that film as well in the comment section so that you can go check it out, Chasing Lullaby, on Spiral Station.
On Mother's Day. It's a film that we shot a few years ago, and then we released it on our YouTube page, and you should see the film. It's a beautiful film that talks about mothers, in all forms, and and I didn't see the media pick it up and make a whole song and dance about it like they're doing.
So this is why I don't agree with Shelley, and this is where I'm going to take the stance of, I'm going to be on the side of the audience as well. In everything, there has to be some deliberate or some intention behind it, right? And I'll come to it, but this is why I don't agree with her. Yes, the media has a responsibility to, to pick up on these things, but I've come to understand that the media would go where the sensationalism is. And how does the media determine what is sensational? It's the audience, right? But there are ways to be intentional about this, especially from the side of the creatives, right? Especially for someone like a production outfit like Sparrow Studios, who have years in the game, they have skin in the game, they have reputation, they have connect, they have they have reach, right? They have to be intentional about some of these things. You don't just dump a film on your YouTube channel and expect for it to go viral. You have to be intentional, you have to be particular, you have to be specific, you have to be strategic in making sure that you engage the media, right? And I'm going to tie all this in soon. It's going to make sense, but I'm leading to something. You don't just expect that the media will pick up on this if you don't lead them in that direction, right? All the information or all the conversation that is being sparked around Straw, I can tell you a portion of it was deliberately orchestrated. They didn't just leave everything to chance. They were intentional about pushing certain conversations or fueling certain conversations so that people take a stance, and then it has an adverse or reverse effect on the film and more people want to see it. You don't just fold your arms and drop the film and expect that the film will fly. No, it doesn't work that way. And I would expect that for a platform or a studio or production outfit like Sparrow Station, they have the pool. I don't know who a Shelley Frimpong would approach and would not grant her audience. I don't know. But let's go on.
With Tyler Perry movie, he doesn't care about us.
Oh, that's true.
We have to care about our own. We have to push our own. Do you get?
This is the part I agree with. We have to care about our own. We have to push our own. But to what extent? Really?
And that's what Nigeria is doing and doing effectively. They push their own, they promote their own, they support their own.
This is Hits.
So shout out to Kwame Dazi for sharing this video on his Facebook timeline, and shout out to everybody that actually tagged me in it and was asking for my hot take or reaction to it. And this is my hot take or reaction to generally this and all the conversation about support versus lack of interest, in my opinion, being the biggest problem for the Ghanaian. Well, not the biggest problem, but one of the problems or one of the struggles of the Ghanaian film industry. I've already talked about the lack of interest and sort of like pointed out some of the things that have led to the lack of interest for the industry, right? Particularly being the quality of our films. The audience, regardless, I'm going to stress on this as many times as possible, the audience have acquired a certain taste or have developed an acquired taste for film that creatives would have to meet to be able to satisfy them and to be able to get them interested. We can't gloss over that. It's like I don't know. You know this you know this Ghanaian proverb, I don't know how to put it, but they say undi obi mamin kwine da or say o mamin kwine ede. You know, you always, when you are eating just your mom's soup, you feel like, okay, that is it. That's the best soup ever. But when you taste someone else's mom's soup, and then you realize, there's something really there. Then you start, if you keep tasting that soup for a while, when you go home when your mom gives you soup, you don't want to eat your mom's food anymore. That really is the case. Okay. A lot has to be said, or a lot has to be done about the quality of our films. And that is where I come in, right? That is where I put myself again now in the middle as a critic or somebody that has been speaking on years about the Ghanaian film industry. Anytime there's a Ghanaian film and I speak about it, I'm the hater because the filmmaker thinks I'm sabotaging his sales. When the truth really is, I just want to see a best film. I just want to enjoy the film. And sometimes, well, not sometimes, but always, the reason why I would go to every extent to write a review for a film is because I want there to be a conversation about the film. I want people to want to talk about the film. I want people to sit back and say, this is how I feel about the film. I want somebody who is standing on the outside looking at the conversation going on saying, film Ben Omokan saying, what's this film they are all talking about? Let me go and also see it. That is why I would write a review for a film. And then some silly filmmaker will come and say, I do this for attention. What attention would that give me? Bro. But that's not about them. Again, let me make this about myself. For all the years that I've been writing these reviews for the Ghanaian film industry, I struggle with one thing. I'm not even going to talk about access. I'm going to talk about the intentionality or the deliberate side of the filmmakers in making sure that my reviews or any other review adds to the conversation about their films. Think about this way. There's a reason why critics exist. When I write a review for a film, whether it's a good review or a bad review, it starts a conversation or it adds to a conversation about your film. Your job as the producer or the filmmaker is to either ignore my review or engage my review in a way that brings attention to your film. If you have confidence in your work, you shouldn't care about what some critic has to say about your film. If you have confidence in your work, when I watch your film and I say I didn't enjoy your film, you should also come out and tell people why you feel like your film is the best film that they would ever see. And stand on your word and get people to have interest in going to see your film. Have somebody also on the other hand who has written a positive review about your film and put it out there and say, this is what this other critic has to say about my film. And let people decide. Let the conversation go on. Let's be deliberate about some of these things. I mean, I get frustrated when I speak about this because they are low-hanging fruits. This is not rocket science. This is not like an experiment that is so difficult to achieve. But then again, it starts with the quality of the film. Okay. Because if the audience, and some directors or producers, let me not mention anybody's name. Because some of these producers and Kasana, you be like them for lash. Some of them, you've been doing this thing for years. You've been making the same mistakes for years. You've lost your audience. Why don't you sit back and say, okay, what did I do? And my audience or my numbers is reducing. What can I do different? How can I improve? They'll put the blame on a certain critic called Tony Asankomah that Tony Asankomah said the film is bad, so Tony Asankomah is hurting their sales. But I want to see your best film. I want to see your film and be like, yo, and I'll be the first person to tell you, yo, I love the film. Right? And this is the thing. Every review that I write, I try to find a positive thing to say about the film because I want people to go and watch the film. Regardless of how bad I feel the film is, I want people to still go out and go and see the film. But I'm still the bad guy. Now let's go to the conversation about lack of interest. The acquired taste of the audience is there. We can't rule that out. People are on their phones every single day watching Netflix. People actually watch more Netflix in Ghana than you think. Even though they might not be paying for it, but people are actually watching Netflix. And they are getting exposed to all these good films from the rest of the world. From Korea, from South Africa. I'm not even going to mention our brothers on the other side, but they are watching a lot of good films. So if you make a film and they see that that film is not matching up with that quality, they are not going to watch it. Regardless of what you do. You can, bro, I've been in situations where I literally was giving people free tickets to go watch Ghanaian films and they just didn't want to go watch it because they knew that director had been making a certain kind of film that they were not interested in. Yes. That's the truth. That's where the intentionality really is. When we say let's be intentional, it's not just about the audience. It's also about the filmmakers, as the creators, being intentional in making sure that we improve on the quality of our filmmaking. It's as simple as that. We don't have to leave it to chance. We don't have to gamble and say, and you see, it's so difficult because even when a good film comes out, it becomes very difficult to sell that good film now because of the bad ones. People have seen so many bad Ghanaian films that it becomes very difficult to convince someone to go see a good Ghanaian film. But I know we'll get there. And that is about us being intentional. You see, with all the two clips that I've played to you, what is trying to convey, right? Or what it's trying to capture is that importance, interest, winning the interest back. It can be through short films. It can be through It can be through, films that you put on YouTube. Just win the interest back. I say this all the time. All the problems in our film industry are not problems that can be fixed with just a snap of a finger. It will take a while. It will take time. It will take effort. It will take consistency. But when we start now, maybe in the next 5 or 10 years, it would get better. And it starts with making better films. I know, they'll come from my head. They'll say, where is the money to make the better films? But it's not always just about the money. It starts with the story, my guy. It starts with the storytelling. It starts with the conversation that the film would spark. And it starts with being intentional about sparking or fueling those conversations. You make a good film, a review is written about the film, you don't share the review. I've seen some Ghanaian films that I'll write or I'll enjoy a certain portion of the film. I'll speak about it in my review. I'll send it to the director. The director will do on looking. They will not even capture that one line that I said, that is all Hollywood does. When you see a quotation from a quotation from, let's say, New York Times or whatever that is being used in selling a film, that doesn't mean that was all what was written in the review. That could just be a line. That could be the one line that is good in the review. But the producers will capitalize on that and use that to sell the film. I've done that. I've spoken about the need for us to have more conversations about the film industry, not just about the industry and its problems, but about our films And that's why I've been running GH Movie Freak for God knows how long, even though it doesn't pay the bills. But that's the truth. Why do I do this? I can't stress this any further. I just want to see good films from Ghana, bro. I'm tired. I just want to see good films from Ghana. Anybody that has a good film, I want to see it. I want to see the film and be blown away. I'll make noise. I'll shout from the top of the building. I'll pay people to go watch that film if it's a good film. So that's my hot take. Lack of interest versus support. Where do we really stand? Where do we go? I think on both sides, yes. Creators have to do a lot more work to win their interest back. And then it will be easier for the audience to support the creators. That really is my hot take on this subject matter. Let me know what you have to say in the comment section as well. If you agree or disagree with me, let me know about it. If you think I'm doing this for some form of attention or self-gratification, that's on to you. You can leave it in the comment section. If I feel like reacting, I'll do well to react to it. Most importantly, if you are new here, please subscribe to this channel and share this video to as many people as you can. My name is Tony Asankomah, and you just watch GH Movie Freak's Hot Take. I'm out. Peace.